It's Kristina Dennis, Transformational Self-Empowerment Master, and it's the afternoon. I had a lot of connections today. It was really a lot of fun. I got to meet with two wonderful women and go through different parts or, catch up on different parts of their life. And there was just so much joy in that. And I was thinking, wow, I am really blessed to have the people that I have in my life. And so I just wanted to say, that I am super excited that I sat down and had that time to connect with each of these ladies and watch the different phases of their life. One is just about ready to become a mother, and the other, her child is about ready to go to med school, and I'm kind of right smack in the middle. And I was thinking about how fantastic we are, and of course, I am still discussing and thinking about how I am going to go about the business of forgiving my mom and forgiving the mom who gave birth to me. I don't know if she qualifies as a mom at this point. She really hasn't been in my life. Last time I saw her, I was 17, which is, 32 years ago. And so a whole lifetime has happened since then. And I was listening to one of my favorite Super Soul Sundays while I was walking on the treadmill this morning. And it's so important for me, and I think really, really exciting and wonderful that we have access to all these wonderful programs that will help us, kind of get maybe help us get to a place in our heart where we're doing some of that healing that I was talking about. And as I was talking to my friend in the afternoon, I was talking about what I really want to do with my life and what I really want to be offering in everyday activities and everyday actions and how I interact with people. And it is a source of healing that I think is what I am in search of, in healing the world and healing particularly women. So when I was discussing with her this afternoon and figuring out exactly how I was going to be able to do that, I knew it was really important for me to come in here and be really transparent about, how I'm doing on this forgiveness quest of my mother. And yesterday I talked about how I didn't know if forgiving was as important as accepting that the way she's chosen to behave is exactly the way it's supposed to be, and accepting that what is exactly where my Creator has me to do amazing things and to perform amazing supernatural things that only a higher power, a higher source who I choose to call God can do. And that means I have to be in positions where I am dependent and surrendering of my own will and power. And so I was listening to a Super Soul Sunday this morning, and this person was talking about what they do to prepare every morning. And I think I've talked about it a little bit on this platform about priming. And it was spending 5 minutes in each category and taking the time to really think. The first one was 5 minutes of, thinking of something that you're grateful for. Stacey, you'll like this. And, make sure that some of them are little, because we don't want to be grateful for only big stuff. We want to be grateful for stuff that we're going to see every single day, and spending 5 minutes with that and getting into that space and feeling my heart connect with my head, and breathing. And then the next 5 minutes, so I set my alarm so that I could keep hitting repeat, and I have this really pretty chime that comes in so it's not too disturbing. And so the next 5 minutes talking about where I want to be, and visualizing where I want my life and that peace that I'm looking for and that place that I want to be. And then the third 5 minutes was going to be about how I was going to show more love today to myself and to others. And then I decided to add the last 5 minutes, which was to think about how I could connect with myself and my mother at the same time in kind of a spiritual way, where I could tell myself that it's okay, that things are exactly how they're supposed to be. I could look back at the past and say, look, you've gone through it. There was always a mom there of some form, even, especially when you became the mom. And that I could eventually look to her and say, I release you of any responsibility for me today. And I also release you of any responsibility for me in the past. And I have to say, I didn't do any of them well. My head was busy. I was falling asleep within those 5 minutes. And I realized, oh, I'm really stretching myself. This is hard. And I'm going to try again tomorrow. But what I loved about the idea of doing this was taking the thing that seems really hard, and I'm going to apply this to other areas, was starting and grounding myself. My hair seems so frizzy today. Grounding myself in love and connecting my brain with my heart and having that centered kindness, that centered beauty, that centered knowing. And then going ahead and opening the door to an issue that's harder, welcoming it in and saying, okay, let's sit down for a little bit. And seeing if I can retool how I'm looking at this issue or this painful situation or this, maybe something that I'm afraid of. And I want to start doing that a little bit more and reporting back, because I know that for me, a lot of learning happens in teaching, that's when I really, really get it at a level, at a cellular level. And so I would love to hear from those. And I know everybody's really shy on this actual platform, but you reach out to me individually. I'd love to hear if you have any ideas or are going to try some of this in your life, where I take the 10 minutes, the 15 minutes to prime myself to be in the right place, and then decide to go ahead and open the door to that issue that I want to avoid. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this out there. The second thing that I wanted to share today was about knowing when you're hearing from God, or knowing when you're hearing from your higher power or higher source. I don't want to exclude anybody. My God doesn't do that, doesn't exclude anybody, and loves all of us. So I heard this and I thought, this is so true in my life. And I wanted to point it out and share it and see, just obviously bring it to light. This person was talking about that she knows she's not at center, that she knows she's not at the source or the solution or the resolution of whatever is turning in her life, when it's all words, thoughts. And I thought, yeah, that's when I pick something up and I literally play with it, like, I don't know, like a little paperclip or something. I just keep playing with it and rethinking it and calling people and saying, well, what about this? Or, well, maybe this. And I don't do this as much anymore, but I do know that this used to be a major source of how I felt like I was solving a problem, or I was dealing or grappling with a problem. And she was saying that once it moves from the words down to the knowing, that's when she knows that she has moved into the spiritual acceptance, the solution, and has connected with her higher source. And she has to be quiet enough, and I think words have to be said sometimes, and they have to be expressed, and they have to be put out there. But taking that time long enough, the minutes in between the words, long enough, waiting for that knowing. And I feel like that's such a really helpful guide, and a helpful measuring stick. And when people come up to me and say, well, how do you know when you're in God's will? Or how do you know you're doing the right thing? And remember, it could be the right thing for this moment. And we all have the right to change our minds and move forward to a different end game. We don't really always know what our destination is going to be. In fact, most of the time we end up somewhere else, but we had to take that road, that step, make that decision to get to that other place. And I was thinking, oh yes, when I can tell somebody, you'll get to that place and you don't have to rush it. You don't have to worry about getting there. You'll get to that place. And when it stops being a slew of words and a slew of thoughts, and it starts being a feeling and a connection and an inclination and intuition, that's when you know that you're moving into the solution that works for you for now. So that's all I got today. And I will check in with all of y'all tomorrow. That's for you, Stacy, my y'all. All right, take care.